In this scripture says, and he shall stretch over it the line of tohu, confusion, and the stones of bohu. The stones, which are forms in the building, as explained later on by Ramban, thus constitute substance as expressed in the Hebrew bohu. So he is in it, but interesting that it's talking about stones in the building, which would be like the whole entire body of Messiah, as he references himself in the New Testament as this building, and we are the stones connected with him. So, and yet he is in it. Messiah is actually in all this. You just might not see it in the midst of all this confusion. The tohu in Hebrew, or hailai in Greek, is the line by which the craftsman delineates the plan of his structure. So he shall stretch over it the line of tohu and the stones of bohu. So like maybe on some there's darkness, there's confusion, but others they're connected with Messiah, so they have light. I'm not sure exactly. This is derived from the expression kaveh, hope, unto God. The stones are forms in the building. Similarly, it is written, they are accounted by him as naught, and tohu, as tohu comes after nothingness, and there is nothing in it yet. So the rabbis have also said in Sefer Yetzirah, he created substance from tohu, all things coming from this word here, from this building, the stone that the builders rejected, and made that which was nothing something. What was more infinite is what I would say. What is infinite, finite. They have furthermore said in the Midrash of Rabbi Nechunya ben Hanukkah, Rabbi Berechiah said, what is the meaning of the verse? And the earth was tohu, without form, and vavohu, and void, or yet he is in it. What is the meaning of the word was? Haya, existence. It had already been tohu. And what is tohu? It is a thing which astonishes people. It was then turned into bohu. What is bohu? It is a thing which has substance, as is written. Bohu is a composite of the two words. Bohu, in it there is substance. So, yeah, I would say that the word tohu is astonishment, because when you look and had at a city or at the temple and you knew how wonderful it was, and yet it became completely demolished, not one stone left upon another, then you would have this feeling of astonishment in your gut, this terrible feeling. That's the destruction that is tohu, I believe. And yet, like Messiah died, this temple died, and yet it didn't actually like die, like death couldn't contain him. And so, and yet he is in it, so all these stones can still get rebuilt. If we are saying that bohu is pointing to Messiah, how he is in it, then it's really nice that he's making this connection of tohu coming from the word for hope. This is like an expectant gathering, like the waters of a mikvah. Like say if you're in a state of hopelessness, that Abraham without hope and hope believed. It's this expectation, an outcry to God in a state of even total hopelessness, of confusion, of seemingly nothingness, and yet still praying to God. So here is this verse that he is looking at. Galway, to wait, to hope. And it's connected with a word for cord. And so Messiah is definitely connected with cord, to wait for Messiah, to like be strong in your hope for him, even when all signs point to Messiah's not here, and yet you still cling to him. That's that word for tohu, that he's saying there's a relation there. So Messiah is coming out of that hopelessness, that confusion, that empty, barren place, because there's people there who have hope, that have that outcry for him. So we've talked about Bereshith, and so now Rambam is going to talk about the word Elohim, the third word in Genesis 1:1. And he's going to find that the root word should mean force, like power. And then there's also the word them in there. And he's turning it into a construct. But since I would say that there's no power outside God, I would say it's more like the power of them, as in he is the power that is in them. All of these gods, these judges, these seemingly powers, they don't have any power on their own. The power of them is God. So here's what Rambam says. The word Elohim means the master of all forces. For the root of the word is el, meaning force, and the word Elohim is a composite consisting of the words Elohim, as if the word El is in construct state, and Him, literally they, alludes to all other forces. I wouldn't say all other forces. Thus, Elohim means the forces of all forces. A secret will yet be disclosed in connection with this. If so, the simple, correct explanation of the verse is as follows. In the beginning, God created the heavens, means he brought forth their matter from nothing, and the earth means that he brought forth its matter from nothing, and the earth includes all the four elements, not merely the land, as in the verse, and the heavens and the earth were finished, which includes the entire lower sphere and all their hosts. And in praise the eternal, from the earth ye sea monsters and all deeps. So it's including, like, earth as a whole includes the sea, everything in it. And as in many other verses, now with this creation, which was like a very small point, having no substance, everything in the heavens and on the earth was created. So, I mean, I don't think that, like, Genesis 1:1 is the source of all things. And so, yeah, like in general, we could say the four elements, but I wouldn't even call it physical. In Genesis 1, you're not seeing that God's actually like making things out of nothing. Stuff is growing from the ground, water is coming together, but it's all already there. So it's like taken on this form, and he's making use of this broken vessel. He's making it into another vessel. But all the materials, all the ingredients, I believe, are there. It just might have been in more of a spiritual form. So, like, whatever is the spiritual form of fire, how Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, maybe there was a spiritual form of fire in there, and that's how they didn't get burned. It was a different kind of substance, not an earthly kind of substance, maybe. And then when it became fallen, is my speculation, that it maybe took on more physical. So I don't think we would find these physical things in the heavens, per se. Now, with this creation, which was like a very small point, having no substance, everything in the heavens and on the earth was created. The word eth, at the heavens and at the earth, is like the essence of a thing. The sages have always set it forth as serving to include, since it is derived from the expression, the morning, atha, cometh, and also the night. And so did our rabbis say, Eth Hashamayim, the heavens, and Eth includes the sun, moon, stars, and constellations, Ve'eth ha'aretz, and the earth includes the trees, herbs, and the Garden of Eden. These include all created things which are corporeal. So how interesting is this, that the direct object marker Aleph Tav is called the essence of a thing. So he's saying that, like creation, the heavens and the earth, Hakma, Bina, these are infinite things. They don't really have substance, right? What's giving them substance? What is the essence of the matter? And this would be the Aleph and the Tav. This is what's giving it its substance to allow it to include all these things, I would say. The Aleph and the Tav is what is giving the object its definiteness. It's giving it its substance. So we're going to know that it's something definite, something in particular, something that has this specific, because it has an Aleph and a Tav. And he's saying that it's coming from this word in Isaiah 21:12. So who is the comer? The comer is the morning. And we're going to learn that the light, the illumination, Messiah says he's the light of the world, is called the day. And so the morning is when the day breaks. This is when he comes. The light comes. But also the night. So who is the coming one? Song of Solomon says that the lover is coming, and this could be Messiah. And also another one where he's coming with the clouds, and Revelation is saying that it's Messiah that comes with the clouds. So this is the one who comes, the morning star. And also, like the devil, the Antichrist, could be called the morning star. So that's where it gets confusing. They're both like showing up at the same time. Probably in the Hebrew here, the essence of a thing is the essence of a word. Like thing is usually devar, so you just don't know how to translate it sometimes. It could either say the essence of a word or the essence of a thing. And so here again, Messiah saying, John saying that in the beginning was the Word was with God, and the Word was God. So with that Aleph and Tav being there, what it's saying is the essence of the heavens and the essence of the earth. That is what God in the source created. And the Aleph and the Tav is what gives what otherwise would be infinite and undefinable definition, purpose, a desired end. And this is reiterated when we have the words tohu and bohu. Tohu being like what you can't describe. It may seem worthless. It has no definition, no form. It seems empty, because God may seem like nothingness, but he's actually infinite. So he has no definition to him. But yet, just like the Aleph Tav gives it the definition, the Bohu, he's saying, clothes it with form. It's like those stones that can give it definition and substance. And then Ramban goes on to show how the four elements could be found in the second verse. And then he says this, now it is already known that the four elements fill up the whole space with matter. That which stands still is the sphere of earth, stands still. The waters surround the earth, the air encompasses the waters, and the fire envelops the air. Scripture thus states that the earth took on form, and the fire above enveloped the intermingled waters and dust, and the wind blew and rose in the darkness and hovered over the waters. Kitty. It appears to me that this primeval point which God created out of absolute naught, which took on form and became bohu, is what the sages call the foundation rock, the rock of foundation from which the world was founded. And Messiah says he's the cornerstone. So what if he's actually talking about that stone upon which Isaac was laid, which all these other events took place that became the cornerstone, the foundation stone of the temple? What if that's what he meant when he said the cornerstone? This is like what all of creation comes from. Adam was supposed to have come from here. All these major events happened here. This foundation rock is the stone on which the Ark of the Covenant rested in the Holy of Holies in King Solomon's temple. The purport of the verse is thus: in the beginning, God created the heavens from naught, and he created the earth from naught, from himself. The earth, when created, was tohu, and then it became bohu. It became the foundation stone. He is in it. And in these there were darkness, water, dust, and the wind blowing upon the water. Thus everything was created and made. The reason why wind is attached to the name of God, as it says in the Spirit of God, is that it is the least substantial of all the elements and is above them, hovering upon the face of the waters. Only by command of the Holy One, blessed is he. Every time I move my cursor, she's chasing it. Tanya says that breath is like the very essence of God within us. So yeah, in that way, the Spirit is trying to explain why it's connected with God here. But really, I think all of these elements is really just God himself in Genesis 1:1. And then when this devastation struck, then there was like just this, it was like in this fallen state, right? So it was maybe taking on some form of the physical, but I wouldn't say that there was just like actual water and fire and things like that. There might have been some sort, like it was taking on physical in some ways. But I'm thinking that more like God is a consuming fire, and then fire that we know of is like an expression of him being this, and how his wisdom flows down like water or something like that. And water, as we know, could be an expression of this, but I don't think it was like the actual elements as we know it here on earth that was around until like Genesis 1-2. I think there was like some form of these things, but it's like when it says the Spirit of God, this could be translated wind as well, is just based on context, but people might translate it either way because they don't actually know, was this the wind of God or was it the Spirit of God, like the Shekinah? If angels are messengers who act on the behalf of God to go where he would not otherwise go, then angels would have naturally been created on the end of day one. So day one mirrors the fourth day when the sun, moon, and the stars were created. So the order of the first day is that there was darkness first, so that's the nighttime. And then there is the breaking forth of the light when he calls out the light. That would have been like the start of the morning. And then when the stars would have come out would have been at the end of that first day, I think, because he's separating the light from the darkness. So as soon as there's separation, the light isn't going to go in the darkness. So now what's going to go in that darkness would be the stars, signifying angels, and the moon, signifying angels. And so with all that being said, for now, maybe the best I can summarize this in a plain meaning is with these words. Maybe I'll keep working on it. I don't want to make it too spiritual, but there's the basic meaning, which Rashi and Ramban are supposed to have just gone over. Should go something like, by means of and for the sake of the firstborn word of all words, from the lofty heavens to the firm earth, God filled all with design.